We're very lucky today to have one of my favorite people on with us. Natalie Redmond is the president of the Chamber of Commerce, and Natalie will be presenting the Joseph Company Breakfast in December. And so we wanted to have a chat with Natalie to talk about what the Chamber is doing in regard to the Imagine 2040 and the upcoming Joseph Company Breakfast. And so thank you for being here today, Natalie.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to share some things going on at the chamber.
Great, great. So let's start with the very beginning. You've been here since the creation of the Imagine 2040. Talk to us a little bit about why the 2040 came about and how it fits into the business community and what you're trying to accomplish with the business community.
Well, the 2040 came about as we were looking at how we continue to cultivate businesses in St. Joseph. So, a big part of our history here at the Chamber has been doing things like developing Easttown Business Park. So we've always kind of had that vision for innovation and building what we need to accomplish success here in St. Joseph. So a lot of times communities don't have business parks, for example, our size, because there's not developers willing to come in and do that. So they had the vision in the 80s to create those, and we've had a lot of successes with it. But economic development has kind of evolved over the years where, economic development is recruiting businesses to town, but it's also keeping businesses in your community so that you have jobs available where people want to live in your community. And it's evolved where it's no longer just about developing that business park, though that's important, and making sure you have the infrastructure for businesses to be successful. It's evolved into things like, where do businesses want to locate? So businesses now look at a lot of different climates when they want to locate somewhere. They don't just look at infrastructure and sewer and water rates and how close it is to an airport. They also now look at what we would consider more soft traits of the community that aren't, just, okay, do you have rail service? Do you have air? How can we expand what's your workforce? It's now more about what is the climate of your community? Can we attract a workforce to your community? And as we've kind of entered this workforce phase of our society, which we've been warned about for years, as folks are retiring and we're not creating new population, where my generation didn't have enough babies. We are now looking at, okay, how do we compete with other communities? Because people no longer just go find and move somewhere for a job. They go to a community they really love, and then they find a job. So it's really kind of changed the game. So as we were looking at that a few years ago, are we prepared? Do we have the strategies in place to make sure we're a vibrant community for the future? And we had done several community plans, but we hadn't done one in a while. We were at a national conference and found our friend Rebecca Ryan. And Rebecca had just done one in Omaha, and we went and studied theirs. And the first one she did was in Nashville 20 years ago. And we've seen the success of Nashville in the last 20 years. So we thought, we can do this. We're a smaller community than Omaha or Nashville, but if we have a plan and we work that plan, we can get to the success that we want to be. Because people now want to look at, housing to have an affordable place to live. Do I have a place that my kids want to go to school, that they can get a good education? Do I have amenities like parks and place, things that I can do? So we've kind of gotten into the realm of looking at community issues because it's important to businesses. I can't recruit an executive to come work at Nestle Purina R&D if we don't have the amenities that they need. They'll take a job somewhere else. So it's why we've gotten into conversations like housing and crime and homelessness. That is not a traditional role of economic development.
So essentially what you've done, you've added community development or the Imagine 2040 to the economic development toolkit because that's what business expects now.
Yeah, the game has just changed. And, I know a lot of people are like, why would the chamber be having conversations around crime? Or why would the chamber be having conversations around homelessness? But that affects someone's ability to have a successful business in St. Joseph. So it's our responsibility to make sure that we're helping have those conversations. And a role of a chamber, no matter what community you're in, is to be a convener. It's not to solve all the problems, it's to bring the people to the table to address the problems and then say, okay, we have a game plan. Now you're going to go attack that, or you're going to go attack that. We're not solving all of those problems. That's not our role. We have great partners. We just act as a convener to make sure that we're moving in the right direction.
Absolutely. So it's important to the business community, but that also translates to it's important to the community. If businesses are doing well, the community is doing well. And if we're focused on those community development aspects, building amenities, making sure we have the best schools possible, then the entire community benefits from that.
Yeah, because these are also residents. So this person that works at this company also lives here. So it's not just about the business community, though that's our role in it. It's about building a better community because at the end of the day, people want to live and work in a community that is thriving.
So I know that the Imagine 2040 has a very lofty goal of being the best community it can possibly be. So tell me a little bit, what's your dream or what's your vision for the business community and then the overall community in general?
I would love for us to get a place where we have communities calling us as the trendsetter for doing it right. So we go do community exchanges where we go learn about something innovative another community is doing, a problem that they have fixed. And I would love to get a call one day that we are having a community come visit us because we're trend setting in an area, whether that be education or whether that be downtown, whatever that might be, pick the piece within the 2040 that they could focus on. But wouldn't that be cool to have Columbia, Missouri say, hey, wow, St. Joe's really doing it right. They got it going on. Let's go see how they did it and learn from them. I find myself doing that a lot as we're getting ready to go tour Des Moines for housing. And I've not gotten that call in the 18 years I've been at the chamber. I would like to get that call.
Well, I'd like you to get that call too. So, where do you think we are current state? The Joseph Company asked us to kind of pinpoint, are we in survival? Are we stable? Are we successful or are we significant? And I think what they're asking is the current state of business, and probably as it relates to this community development. So where do you think we're fitting in right now?
I don't think that we've reached the significant point, but I don't think we're in survival. So I would say we're in that kind of that top tier, but not the toppest tier, because we do have good jobs in St. Joe. I think there's a misconception that we don't have good jobs in St. Joe. I think people think about what manufacturing used to be and don't think about it the way it is today. As I work with colleagues across the country, they're jealous that we have 30% manufacturing and that we have such stable types of manufacturing like food, uh, transportation, and animal life science. Because as you weather recessions or you weather a pandemic, those are very stable industries. And so that means that for the most part, your folks aren't going to have significant layoffs because they're stable industries, because they're needed. You're always going to have dog food. You're always going to have pharmaceuticals for farm animals. You're always going to have food. So that I think is something that we've figured out and done pretty well in St. Joe. That we have industries that are very sustainable, and then we have a great mix of small businesses as well. So I think we have a very vibrant business community. I'm really proud of what we've been able to accomplish as a business community in St. Joe.
And what we don't have, we grow our own. We have great partners with the university and the school district to look at those high need professions, law enforcement, teachers, social workers. And so we're constantly looking at what does the community need? What jobs do we need to provide? And filling in the blanks that way. We do, as you said, have really great partners around the table.
We do. We have great partners. Workforce is always going to be a challenge. That's not unique to St. Joe, but man, I feel like we have great partners that dig in to figure that out and, create programs like a social worker program when we need social workers. But I think where, we sometimes get dismissed as good jobs. I hear that all the time. And we have lots of engineering jobs, lots of scientist jobs. I just think they go under the radar. Those companies are companies that are not necessarily companies that are going to broadcast or brag about the work they're doing. They're doing significant work right here in St. Joseph, whether it's in an R&D lab. We have a lot of ag tech. I mean, I just think it goes under the radar. So when I hear we have no good jobs, that is a little bit of a misconception because we do have fantastic jobs. I think the challenge is they're not necessarily recruiting just from St. Joseph. I sat at business downtown lunch the other day and got to meet a gal from Germany who's here with her husband from New York City who have taken a job here and they love St. Joe. But they were recruited because of a special niche in what they do. But those are the jobs you don't hear about. We have a shortage of welders. We have a shortage of production line workers. So I think those are the jobs you see and hear about. So you assume that we don't have great jobs in St. Joe, but we do. We have a very good mix of jobs in St. Joe.
Mm-hmm. So you've been chamber president for just over a year. Is that right? Time flies.
Yeah, going on two.
Going on two. Wow.
2 years.
Time flies. So what do you think so when you have the stage for the Joseph Company breakfast, what's the one thing you want people in that audience to walk away with?
I would say, and maybe this is where I am just too much of an optimist, but I see so much good in St. Joe and I see so much potential. And I would just like us to be kind. And I would like us to really make sure that we're living up to our potential. We have some really good things happening, and I could move anywhere I wanted to move. I choose to live in St. Joe because we have so much grit and we have so many amazing people and we have so many cool stories to tell. And I just wish we would see that potential. And I wish we were, more positive about that potential.
So interestingly enough, I just read an article. I think I told you this. I saw it on social media, and since I tend to be a little bit cynical, I actually looked up the study and read about it. And a University of Pennsylvania study over many decades, 2 decades, I think, thousands of people found the leading predictor of success is just what you said, optimism. So the more optimistic you are, that's a predicator of, are you going to be successful in what you're going to accomplish? And so with that attitude, Natalie, I don't see how we cannot be successful in St. Joseph. So,
well, and I love that, Tama, because I've been kind of told along my career that I'll never be successful because I'm too much of a Pollyanna and I'm not enough of a realist. But it's not in my DNA not to see the good in people and the good in our community. And I see it. And I just wish everybody could see it through my eyes.
Well, I also think you're an optimist with an unlimited amount of energy and also the innate ability not to take no for an answer. So I think those two things factor into that too. Yes, you're very optimistic, but you're also, I'm going to get this done. And so I appreciate that about you.
Right. Thank you. But I think we have an amazing business community and a great city. And I just hope that we keep plugging forward.
Okay. Well, thank you for being on today. And we'll see you at the Joseph Company breakfast when we feature the business community. And always good to talk to you. Talk to you later.
Right.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.